go through one more. It's so strange. What is going on, everyone? Tim from Tierfon Orbital. I have no idea what this is. I have no idea what this is. I just know that it is from Yu-Gi-Oh! Listen, I am an older guy. I'm not well versed in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Universe. So this is the Millennium Rod. This is from Jawas Junkyard. Jawas is known for some out-of-the-box lightsaber and prop replicas, and this is definitely out of the box. There are no switches on this thing. So, out of the box hilt. I wouldn't even call this a lightsaber. This is not a lightsaber. So an out of the box prop with no switches. We had to figure out a little bit of an out of the box solution for not having switches. And luckily, Shtok from ShtokCustomWorx does have a proffieboard switch prop file that offers no switch proffieboard navigation. So I'm going to go over that a little bit during this demo video. It obviously is a little bit getting used to how to navigate, all right? But it's a very interesting solution. And then obviously we're going to come into Fusion really quick and talk about the chassis and do a demo and do all that good stuff, right? So with all of that out of the way, let's come into Fusion first. So here it is, very simple static chassis for this one. There's a 24 or 25 millimeter, it's a 1-inch internal diameter all the way through, right? So not an opportunity to stack your board and battery. It's just too tight. However, I did get a fully enclosed 22 millimeter Nano Eloite speaker in here from Smugglers Outpost. Battery tray is here, and then our Proffie board sits up in this area. There is a kill switch here, and I did also get 2 rectangular LEDs on this chassis, but it's a very, very simple chassis, okay? Static chassis. It is epoxied into the hilt. So another thing, unfortunately with this hilt, I'll talk about this when we come up top. There's no set screw or any device to secure the chassis. So it does have to be epoxied into the hilt. I don't always like doing that for maintenance purposes, right? So if you do ever have to replace a lit blade PCB or do any kind of work, I like the option of being able to completely remove the chassis. So whenever I have to use epoxy, I don't like doing it, but unfortunately with this situation, that was the only option. No room to like put a set screw or anything like that, right? So, but anyhow, that's it. Pretty simple static chassis, greebly work on each side, and that is it. Okay, let's come up top, talk about this thing. All right, so here it is, right? Here's the thing, the Millennium Rod from Jawas Junkyard. It does have an extension that will slide onto the bottom of the hilt. I don't know if this makes it more accurate or what, but that is where that goes. All right, so I'm just going to leave that off for the demo video. Here it is, very, very large, top-heavy hilt with this solid aluminum piece up top. All right. It does also come with a blade plug of sorts. What I did with this blade plug was glue the acrylic piece down to the bottom here, and this helps give us the shine through in this eye. All right. Another thing that I did for this eye is just design some very, very simple resin lenses that go into these holes, these eye holes, to give it a little bit better shine through. Okay, so I'm going to leave that out. Go ahead and get a look at this chassis. Here's the chassis. All right. So this was just given the simple rub and buff, black rub and buff, and pewter rub and buff that I usually do on my chassis. Okay, Proffie board is here. This is such an awkward thing to hold, right? Proffie board is right here. Here is our kill switch, and then our lit LEDs are there. So, given that this is such a thin chassis and this is such a large upper section, I just recommend when putting your battery in, just be a little bit delicate with it. This is just epoxied into this hilt, right? So there's just no room to get a set screw in here, right? Unfortunately. So just gluing the chassis in was the only option. So when putting your battery in, just be mindful that it's a thin chassis. Just try and cradle it as much as you can and then put your battery in. Button top protected 18650 battery in this build. Spring side is your negative, so spring side is down towards the speaker. Go ahead and put your battery in. Hit your kill switch. So some of these sound fonts were at the request of the customer. I didn't hear anything when I put that battery in, and that tells me that this sound font wasn't even set up correctly, unfortunately. And I've noticed that sometimes, like getting some of these lesser known sound fonts, sometimes they don't have all of the necessary files. Like this doesn't have a WAV file that announces the sound font, so you didn't hear anything when I put that battery in. Okay, just so you know, the customer. So once you get your battery in, you can put your grip back on. That's the wrong end. Yeah, like another thing I noticed with some of these font smiths, like they don't add the color change WAV file, so when you're changing your color on your blade, you don't hear anything. So it's like there's just some inconsistencies between smiths. Some include that stuff, some don't, right? So I've got my battery in. To activate this, so you'll notice that there are no switches on this thing, none whatsoever. So to activate your Millennium Rod, it is spin to activate, right? So just go ahead and a quick flick of the wrist will turn this on. So now you can see the shine through in that eye, all right? Okay, and then it is twist to deactivate. Let's come down to the bottom. We'll get a better idea of some of this proffieboard navigation. All right, so as I mentioned, I've got my notes up here because I've never used no button proffieboard. So I've got Shtok's prop file over here. Shtok created a no button. It's part of his button prop file, right? But it's a no button option. So thanks to Dimitri for showing me the intricacies of how to use this prop file, because it's a very, very particular motion that you need to do. So to scroll through your fonts, you want to kind of shake this up and down like a can, like a soda can. He said like a soda can. If you could hear that, it did just scroll through the font. So I'm going to go like this. That will scroll through your fonts. Then again, to activate, it is a swing to activate, okay? So there are no blaster blocks with this particular config, no tip drag either, okay? I mean, really, it's actually kind of limited as to what you can do with a no button setup, okay? Oh, so to turn it off, you got to point the blade down and twist, right? That will turn it off. To play a track, you want to clash while the hilt is off, or while the blade is off. Okay, so let's try and go through another font, right? This will take a 7/8 inch blade. However, there's also no set screw for the blade. So I'm not even going to put a blade in this, okay? But you can see that eye lit up a little bit, okay? Very, very weird. Very strange with no buttons.
The next team is ready for launch. 3, 2, 1.
Okay. Okay. Let's go through one more. That's so strange. Okay. All right. And that is it. That is the Millennium Rod from Jawas Junkyard. Very, very unique, obviously, looking hilt. Like from the Yu-Gi-Oh universe, I'm not well versed at all in the Yu-Gi-Oh universe, but it was an interesting install, and it did give me a chance to try out this no button prop file. I have heard of it. I have heard very out of the box builds where that particular prop file was needed. Like if you've got a hilt that has switches that aren't working or something like that, or a hilt like this where there just aren't any switches, it's cool that there is an option to navigate the Proffie board in a limited capacity with that prop file. Okay, so anyhow, to you, the customer, thank you very much for your support. If anyone has any questions about this particular hilt or anything really, please do not be a stranger. And with that being said, may the force be with you always. Have a good one, everybody.